Hello. Same day as before, but different time of day. This is post work and post workout, post work. It should be at 11. If this isn't at 11, something's wrong. 10. Okay, that's better. I meant at least 11. And kind of a weird shift of work. It was pretty busy and then very slow. And had someone had like a coworker be like weird to me right at the very end after a strange shift, but you know, who cares? I was gonna sound dumb, but like, not me. It's weird that it was somebody who's usually pretty regular being weird. There's certain coworkers I have that I pretty much expect them to, I don't know, act like I'm the opposite of the bee's knees, the bee's front of legs or something. Thighs. That's the opposite of a knee, the thigh. It was an okay shift. One of my friends is having a rough time. One of my friends and coworkers is obvious who I'm talking about, so I don't know why I'm trying to act like I can be sneaky, but he's going through some familial kind of horse shit, and it's lame that he's going through it, but I think he's going to I think it's going to figure itself out, and then he's going to be doing well. It just was such a weird shift that I'm kind of left in the shadow of its strangeness, you know? Dang. These are some bad rolls on the old lockpick. The beginning of the pilot run, the pilot's first floor is just the fucking worst. It's just the worst floor of any run of most games. Is worse than the first floor in Hades, worse than the first floor in Isaac. The pilot's first floor is a rough series of just kind of like guaranteed, not guaranteed disappointment, but like it's such an uphill climb, or medium tedium. And we might have condemned ourselves to not even have a chance at opening a single chest on this floor. Ooh, that was good. We almost doubled our money in a room. That's how not great things were going. So yeah, one more room, one more time, one more lockpick attempt, which, you know, statistics says that it's exactly as likely to be a failure as all the other ones have been. And we're good. We're gonna do this the hard way, and we're gonna go to the second floor with, you know, oops, no keys. This could be like the third or fourth run in a row. I can't remember how many, where we don't end up with a lead god by the end of the first floor. And there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. This situation's just bonkers level bad. I wish they didn't get their health back. I wish you could be stupid and leave both of them alive and just deal with it. I hate that if you get separated from the one that you started on, it's essentially just wasted time. Stop fucking summoning. God damn. There we go. Got one of them down. Alright. Now we can go into the other phase, which is still a problem. I'm kind of focused here, so I'm not saying much. I don't think it's going to change much for the overall run if we get hit here, but I would still rather not. That was great. That was a great way to end, where he did the charge and then froze. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. The mailbox. We're starting off deep in the dark recesses of time here. Huh, there's a water barrel there. That's pretty lame. That's a lame place to put a backup water barrel. I'm glad we got the other one, but still, that's pretty fucked. Boom. I've been eating a lot of peanut butter and jelly because it's not super healthy, but it's a good source of protein. I'm trying to be a little bit more, you know, being a vegetarian means a lot of the time not getting some of the, oh my god, get the fuck out of the way. Did you see that guy just like, I mean, I had time to recover, but did you see him do everything in his power to not allow that? I do have to say, I'm happy. I'm very happy to have flawlessed that first floor, and I'm happy that we got 2 extra keys on the floor. Like, you know, we can go back and be like, well, why wouldn't it have been better if you used those and got another gun on the last floor? The answer is, just in this particular instance, no. I think on an average run it would have been better. We wouldn't have had that crazy long Trigger Twins fight, and we wouldn't have been so tense the entire... Sorry, I had the volume a little too loud on my end. Hopefully it's fine on the video, but I had the game volume a little bit too loud on my end. Oops. But now, even though we're starting with just 2 weapons, one of which is insanely bad, and one of which is insanely also bad, we're not really suffering too much from it. That other gun we got could have been a water gun or some other kind of sloppy ding-dong of a weapon. That wouldn't have... wouldn't have left us in any better a position than the one we're currently in. Maybe even slightly worse, because it could have forced us to not get the incredible mailbox. It's a boss clear. It would have been really bad, though. Honestly, if we got the water, like the Mega Dowser, and then didn't get a gun from the boss, we could be in hell or high water. Which is worse? I guess it depends on if you can swim and if you can burn. I guess hell is probably always better, because hell can just be a place where you drown for all eternity. Who knows? Wait. Anyway, I wanted to bring up something else. I was going to talk about how ridiculous the idea of hell is, but I'm pretty sure I've already discussed that. I want to talk about how stupid the human brain is instead, which I've never talked about because I usually am too self-praising to ever say there's anything wrong with the way the human brain works. Because I have one of them. Now, so I was looking at the Square Enix sale that's going on. Just Cause 4, which Just Cause 2, and then I think to some degree Just Cause 1 were... like, they were kind of a big deal. I don't think they were an incredibly enormous deal. But there's still people making, trick shot videos on Just Cause 3 or 4. But Just Cause 4 was like 78% off. I think it was born with little fanfare, and it was maybe like doomed to fail because of that. Like, it didn't feel like it had the opportunity that a game like that could, or it was just a bad game. The one review that I read of Just Cause 4 was that the character hasn't grown with the audience, which is important. It's the reason that Nathan Drake in Uncharted is a goofy cartoon of a person, and Nathan Drake in Uncharted 4 is like a weary family man who cannot do the right thing, because that's what the audience has grown into. People still wanting to play their games instead of take care of the regular boring reality of adult life. And that is how you grow a character with the audience. And, you know, Rico Fleeko is still just a guy at a time, which is why action movies are so garbage most of the time, because, like, you can't be a guy at a time forever. You can't just be, you know, Rambo for 40 years and expect people to be like, wow, everything has changed, but this guy is still just screaming and shooting people in the jungle. Like, oh, whoops. It doesn't work, and it's kind of unfortunate, maybe, to people who have like a complete story to tell that isn't a redemption arc and isn't a character growing into, you know, his old man form or his old woman form, like his old woman form. But it's, I don't know, maybe that's also like, okay, so one thing that I felt, and I kind of still feel, but maybe I felt way heavily 5 years ago, 10 years ago, was that, oh, that's great, was that movement is 90% of fun in video games. I really felt that. And I don't think I necessarily feel it to the same degree. I think it's important. I think it is very significant that movement feels good. You can have a game like Celeste where it's essentially just movement. You can have a game like every Mario game that's essentially just movement. You can have Sonic, similar thing. I don't need to keep saying essentially just movement because that's what we're fucking talking about right now. But you can have all of those and they work because... I might just sell it, dude. I should keep the curse for now. Okay, so... Oh, it's just one? Weird. We already found the secret room. I always felt like this was more than one. Anyway, and you know, that's not enough. There's got to be another gameplay loop besides the speed and fluidity of movement. Like, that is important. It is genuinely important that a game moves well if it is a if it's not a strategy game or a card game or whatever. But then again, it doesn't always. I mean, it isn't so much the only thing. Like, one of the greatest shortfalls of The Binding of Isaac is that movement feels like hot, shitty, sweaty garbage, even in the best of situations. Yet, that game makes up for it in so many other incredible, interesting ways. Man, I should have just rolled there. That was a stupid risk to take. that it can be forgiven for its shortcomings in that regard, and it also can be kind of understood that movement sucks in that game because it is so not the point. Like, they have an item in the game that's called I think it's called How to Jump, and it's directly making fun of the fact that the game is like stuck to a very, very archaic. It's got a picture of Super Mario on it. Looks like a Mario in a NES one, or Mario 1 NES game pack or whatever, or the box art or whatever. Anyway, it looks like Mario, and the whole point is Isaac is a game that's based off of Zelda, the original Zelda, in terms of its overarching structure. And oh boy, okay, that sucked. Fucking let me out of here. Where even is this motherfucker? Okay. This is the worst possible room right now. This is my other blank. What a goddamn trash-ass shit room. Let's go the wrong way. But, you know, they're aware of, like, the game is very limited in terms of freedom of movement. And it's supposed to be. So you get something like the ability to fly, and it's like, oh man, I forgot what it would be like to have a game where everything isn't restricted, where limitations aren't thrust directly upon you at all times. And it's the point, you know? You're a boy who's afraid of being murdered by his mother, trapped in a basement. It's not going to be about the freedom of movement. And you're also, like, having delirious hallucinations the entire time. But anyway, so I thought, you know, Just Cause 3 was all about freedom of movement. It was big open map with a sandbox-style map. The whole thing is supposed to be a playground of movement. And, you know, I was kind of surprised that if they came out with another game, or when they came out with another game in the series, it didn't do well. But the real reason I realize now that I brought up the Square Enix sale is I almost bought. I considered buying Final Fantasy XI, a game I played for about 6 years on a really, really shitty laptop that I, like, kind of screwed up some of my time in college because of, and then I wouldn't recommend anyone start playing. I mean, I have a habit. It was a habit playing that game. Like, I had to break it, and when I did, the other people that I had been playing with were like, ooh-wee, good reload roll there. Like, pissed at me for quitting it because it's a fucking drug, and it's a drug that you need to be social to enjoy. Like, it's a drug you can't do by yourself. There was nothing in that game you could do by yourself. I'm still currently playing Final Fantasy XIV, which is a much more refined, polished, well put together, respectful experience. I'm sure they've decreased some of the time constraints that were present in Final Fantasy XIV, because if they haven't, then the game would be fundamentally unplayable. It took months and months and months of you know, super focused time to do jack shit in that game. And if it still was running like that, there's no way that there'd be an audience of people dedicated to play it. They have to have thrown some freebies, some oh man, some acceleration, some grind destruction at the player at this point, or else I don't know, dude. I want that secret room. Do I want that secret room? I think I want that secret room more than I want to keep. What's nearby? It's not this one, is it? It's this one. Is there a way to catch on fire? I got it. This is going to take a lot more ammo with a old fat ammo belt, or whatever it's called. Come on, dude. Just give me one poison. What? That's not what I wanted to do. This is the most desperate. There we go. There we go. We got that back, and then got a blank, which is what I was missing on my way in. And then we got a great weapon. That was 100% worth every stupid bit of ammo. Anyway, Final Fantasy XI was, when I played it, it was designed specifically to be a time sink. There is the developers of, one of the developers of Final Fantasy XIV even states that, like, when the game came out, it was competing with games like EverQuest Online, and eventually World of Warcraft actually came out well after Final Fantasy XIV, or Final Fantasy XI was playing it. Final Fantasy, or World of Warcraft, was the first threat to the online supremacy of Final Fantasy XI. It was extremely, and you know, WoW more quickly learned to respect the player's time. So there was still stuff, every time they added new content, you knew that you were going to be grinding for anything, and you were going to have to grind for a long time just for the levels to try out the new jobs, just for the ability to test the new jobs in the game to see if you liked them. You had to put in tons of hours, and there was a lot of stuff like waiting for parties, waiting for optimal situations in which your party would actually be leveling up. An archaic auction house, you know, bazaars that just required you to be online, whether you're playing or not, in order to make money. Really boring and time-consuming crafting. Just a ton of shit that, like, if the game came out today with 50% of the time sink that Final Fantasy XI had, it would be laughed off the shelves. Like, it would be considered so ridiculous that anybody had the gall to put out such a disastrous piece of claptrap. Like, but at the time when MMOs were, you know, relatively fresh, when every fourth Korean game wasn't an MMO, when, you know, you really had to struggle to find any MMOs of quality, they were allowed to get away with that, and they were also encouraged, because it kind of felt like you have to show your dedication to earn the right to enjoy yourself. Basically, Yoshi P said that the game, he didn't say that the game disrespects your time, but he said it was about, how did he phrase it? It was about rewarding players for spending as much of their time as possible in the game. And it wasn't about allowing them to get on with their lives. And he said when he designed Final Fantasy XIV, he really had, he was older, and he realized that, like, most games were including ways for older audience members to still raise their family, still go to their 9-to-5 jobs, still do all of that, and play the game, instead of it just being, you know, middle schoolers and teenagers on summer break and stuff like that. Or people that are willing to sacrifice their higher education to the degree in which I did. Like, I didn't ruin my time at school. I did fuck it up a little bit. And I could have had a better GPA. I could have had, you know, I could have spent some more time with... it was actually because of my... not because my senior year girlfriend demanded that I stop playing, but because I realized I wanted to spend more time with her, that I stopped playing the game. And then, dude, the Link Shell that I was in, they lost their shit. They felt that I didn't deserve the stuff that I had put in hundreds, if not thousands of hours to earn. They thought that that I had abandoned the amount of work and effort they had put in to my character, and just all kinds of nasty nonsense. I think we're gonna go with... We'll keep using this one. Red ammo makes things different. But yeah, when I looked at it, I watched a trailer, and so the combat in Final Fantasy XI is a lot more, there's a lot slower pace, there's a lot more time spent auto-attacking. It's just, it's calmer, and I almost let that trick me into thinking that it was like more of a relaxing, fun experience. The game's not fun. It's rewarding. It's rewarding the way that spending all your time at the slots and then eventually winning is rewarding. It's not a gacha style game necessarily, because it's not. I mean, well, kind of. There are enemies that have random drop mechanics. That's pretty much almost a fundamental part of MMOs in general, is making it so that you can't guarantee that you'll get everything, because then you would just do it once and never help anybody else do it. Especially a game like Final Fantasy XI, where it's all teamwork. There's nothing. There are certain jobs in the game, at least at the time when I first played it, that you basically, you couldn't get past level, like, 10 out of, I guess there's probably 100 now. Wow, how fucking shitty. You probably couldn't get past level 10 without heavily leaning on others. I don't care if there's another key here. Like, I can't believe that 5 out of 5 fucking lockpicks were fails. There's one. I said all of them last time, so it's only going to be one this time. You wouldn't do the same thing, would you? I'm holding up one. It's my penis finger. That's pretty neat. So we do have one coolness now. One coolness, one curse. Sunlight Javi is really good, and Sunlight Javi also makes Anvil kind of a non-starter. Is this the perp? It's the perp. Not so sad. That's pretty close to a fuck. We've been getting a lot of good FOKs. A lot of, like, well-run FOKs. And I think that I actually did this fight extremely well. I think I probably could have used a blank, but then I wouldn't have gotten that one half heart from the blue guy. Gesundheit or whatever. Boop, boop. What the fuck is his name? It's not Gesundheit. He does have a Gesundheit-esque name. Brother Albert. Yeah, maybe that's German enough for me. Boom, 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 boom. I wonder if you're making a game with secrets in it. I was thinking about this because I was talking about Isaac earlier, and I just thought about how the rat fight was, you know, uncovered within like a week or two. The path to get to the rat fight. I'm fucking doing it. I'm taking out. Okay, well, I was gonna say I was gonna take out every blue chest that is an extra chest with the fucking lockpick. But if people find it out through data mining, are you flattered or frustrated? I know that old Edmund McMillan got pretty pissed that he would hide all this stuff. He started doing like ARR style stuff with like real life puzzle elements so that people couldn't just dig in the source code to figure out what he put into the game. And that's cool. That's really, really cool that he put that time and thought into it. I don't have a better weapon. I don't want to give it to the thing yet. Huh. Well, that'll do. Didn't mean to get shot there. Just got distracted. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's what we were talking about before. That's what I was saying before. We don't have to shoot walls. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of understand his frustration. It's got to be really hard to bury something. Like, he added this character called the... Jackie's home. He added this character called the Forgotten. It has a kind of tricky unlock mechanic. Something about doing stuff on the first floor. Within hours of the new character being added to Afterbirth Plus, people had data mined it because they had already figured out how to get into the files. There's tons of modding for Isaac, and they had data mined exactly what the requirements were, and they just put that on the internet. I mean, what's the alternative is, you know, it takes months of people cooperating, getting pieces of it right. Maybe one guy gets it and he doesn't say anything, he just shows video of the character, and then you get this whole kind of not really viral marketing, but like free advertising to some degree. What? Dang. Oh yeah. Okay. Forgot about that. About to go into a boss of Jackie's, obviously, here. Hi, baby. You have a good one? Work, that is. That's awesome. It was alright. I mean, it was actually, yeah, it was actually pretty good. Cash has just been, like, nice. Cash has been just really balls-ass god-awful. No, Jake, just let me finish this boss. You have perfect 100% accurate boss timing. I could set my watch. Trying to figure that out. No. I got itchy bugs. You smell like you took some Listerine to cover cigarette smoke.
I had a cough drop.
Oh, it tastes exactly like Listerine. Like exactly. Maybe they just solidified some Listerine in an ice cube tray.
I think so.
Did you hear that dog go? So can you download, there's an app called Paycom that you'll need for work. We can't do anything more with it now, but you will need that app, so you might as well get it. Don't set up an account or anything like that because they have, it's tied to your employer. But download that, and then Gwen wants you to accept invites to all the chats because there's like an expo specific chat. I think she might have said something to you that she, you know, for you to get some more information. And I can't pick up your check. It's illegal. Should open that earlier. Already found the secret, so let's just keep this scooting. We gotta get Lil Bomber. I cannot say the name Lil Bomber without thinking about the character from Home Movies who's dating that guitarist. And she always goes, my boyfriend calls me Lil Mama. There's an item in this game called Lil Bomber. Every single time.
My boyfriend calls me Lil Bomb.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Oh. I feel like your days at work have been better recently with you being there less often. I feel like you're really...
Kind of like make it count a little more.
I'm not just talking about the money. I mean, like, you come back in a better attitude. I think just having fewer shifts there is helpful for a lot of your perception of the place and the ability to...
Tired from it.
Well, not just that. Your ability to focus on more of the positive and less of the drudgery, the greater meta conflicts and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Danny's a little piece of shit. You hear earflap Brutus out there? What would it be like to shake your head and it goes? That's fucking weird.
God, I guess.
Yeah. You have to have your head super stable all the time. You'd be annoying everybody. You look like you're playing a saxophone. Catsaphone.
Tables tonight stayed for 5 hours.
That's cool. Were they neat guys? Or bad
They were
boys?
dickholes. They didn't tip 20%.
I don't know what this synergy is.
Like,
I'm gonna tell you again.
I kind of assumed, like, well, I don't know. They were just the kind of people, like, they ordered, like, for an appetizer, a side of meatballs, which is, like, $10. And then they wouldn't order their next course for an hour, which turned out to be a Caesar fish finger. And then they wouldn't order the next course for another hour, which turned out to be, like, 3 pastas. It was very annoying.
Well, you made good money and you stopped immediately going back to focusing on the negative. After all that stuff I just said.
It was fine. I was busy in other places.
That's good.
Like, who stays at a restaurant that long?
People that are just using it as a seat, Jackie. Like, it's just a Starbucks to them. It's not. They want to be at a place that they like the environment of, and because they can't bring whoever they're talking to their house for whatever reason.
Like, my section cleared out, and then the server next to me section cleared out, and then she got phased. And the hosts like triple stopped me, and they were like, "Are you okay? Do you want us to give you more tables, or like stop?" And I was like, "No, just fucking bring it, please." Like,
Yeah.
I'm so ready to be overwhelmed.
Are you breastfeeding Fernando? You were very close to breastfeeding that cat. What the fuck is going on over
Are you
there?
talking about because I'm holding them the way I usually do with my breasts are out more?
Yes, and also, you're not holding him the way you usually do. You're holding him like your finger is at exactly nipple level. No, I would be...
I don't have any food in my breasts.
I would be more disgusted than I already am, which is almost maximum disgust levels.
You're not disgusted, are you?
I'm throwing up in my own mouth and butt.
Like, gross, it's diarrhea.
No, what if it's solid?
Then it's fine, you're right.
There's only two things that can come out. Liquid diarrhea or solid vom.
Curtis, how was your day? Hmm? Did you get good today? Really? What'd you do? Did you take a little nap? Did you take a little nap all day?
Do you work Sunday night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was night or a yam.
say yam?
Night or a single yam. Boop bump ba-da-dum. Ba-da-da-dum bump ba-da-dum. Who knows my mama's name? Who plays with Canada? I don't really know the words to that song, I'm realizing.
Shares taxi cab. Who wants to farm a boy? Who is an honest man? Who is an honest man?
What?
With a very slow motion, she sat down slowly.
What? Stop singing.
Why?
I'm trying to stream.
Too beautiful.
No.
Too beautiful.
No one ever wants something to stop being. No one's like, oh, that's too beautiful and amazing. Please stop it. That's why I wanted you to stop, so I could sing my my cool song. Let's go ahead and fucking... No, let's not fight this guy yet. Let's get this thing levered up. Maybe we can level up the other one too a little
I
bit.
saw Fernanda's little sister today.
What was her name, Romana?
Yeah. She like, we just had a moment where we were staring at each other in the front yard. And I was like,
Probably not. Believe. That's all, folks. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. How do you know that Who song and you don't know the Darknesses, I believe in a thing called love lyrics?
Because I listen to a lot and I don't listen to it.
Yeah, well, why? You ever think about answering that question? Oh, I'm like so sore. I already did my exercise, so you don't have to fucking freak out about it. You always freak out. Every time you call and I'm exercising, you're like, stop it! Stop doing that! Use your greatest New York accent. Stop doing that! Forget about it! It wasn't darkness, it was evil. Oh, when she turned off the light, why was suddenly it dark in there? Creepy. Snippy chicken dinner. Alright, Jackie. Stop. Going sneaky, creepy, deaky weaky or whatever. This is the smartest thing I've ever done with the old Glupo that I was using there. The old... Huh? What? You're not talking to me, you're just... Oh. No, I didn't hear him. I can't hear. I only got one regular broken ear. Say Brutus? Brutus isn't a man, he's a dog. Half man, 2 halves dog.
Brutus. Why are you upset about that?
He's half bee. What if there was like dog centaurs? Like the bottom, I mean the top half was person. The bottom half was person. Top half is dog.
I mean,
Yuck!
That's really a funny picture. Tiny little dog arms, like a big buff man's genitals and butt.
Well, so the way a centaur works is it has all the limbs of the horse, and then it has the front limbs of the person. It's a 6-legged creature. So it would have regular working human hands, legs, and then 2 floppy dog arms up top.
Like still crawl around like a dog.
I don't know. Probably not.
That's what I like.
It's not about what you like.
Can it be?
No.
Brutus, are you
Well, that's all we need to get rid of. I don't think I want to do cigarettes for a little. I'll probably do some cigarettes. Let's see how many cigarettes we can do. Let's buy cigarettes. Decoy. Steal. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5. So that's 9. We'll be able to fill that back up and do one more. Full heart. Okay. We'll keep those 2. Those should be a lot faster now to refill. Might as well buy a key, I think. Already did. We'll go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do that. We'll actually use a key on this one. And if we want to make some more money, we can, but I think we should. I think we should get rid of angry or homing bullets or whatever, whichever one it is. Winchester, angry bullets. This one. And then we're gone. And the thing about that is we can steal one thing, buy one thing, and then if there's another shop, steal one thing. But we can't steal access to Sinner Grace, and there's some other stuff we can't steal. I'm gonna keep using this. I've been liking this combo. I'm not going to participate in any way. I'm not even going to acknowledge the presence of that synergy over there. There's a good chance that we'll never even use that thing enough to reload it, and then by the time that would have happened the first time, we'll be done with the gun. We'll be out of ammo unish. Because we got, what's it called? Fat, oily big cylindo, I believe is its birth name. Its birth name. Get on fire, dude! What's your fucking problem? Piece of shit. Yo, this guy's cheating with that amount in teleportation. When you hear the sound of the brace breaks over town, hear the way that breaks up down. Attendants wails, keeping their voices down. This were the grounds for the war side now. When the Adams were dead, they hit him on the head, just like a wedding cake. Hit him on the head, just like a newlywed. I want to use this a little bit. Nope, that's not the one I actually want to use. I'll use this. Oh, my nose is so fucking itchy right now. We should test. Oh, come on, dude. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It should get at least to 50%, right? I think that's the maximum. Yeah. Instantly back at 50. We would need the ice cube for that to be any faster, and I think if we got the ice cube, it would just be guaranteed refilled. Yo, you can't summon the hammer as one of your familiars or whatever. Yo. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. That was good. That was neat. Another thing that happens today is I decided to play the stock market. The American stock market, which might be the same as the world stock market, I'm very new to this, is in a state of free fall right now. It's doing real bad. Everyone's scared of coronavirus to a massive, massive degree. People are canceling trips, etc. No, they're canceling like major like shows. Ooh, I know that CDC, the Center, or not CDC, what's it fucking called? The that's a bunch of garbage. Okay, so let's buy what we're gonna buy. Drop deck away and scoot. That's another curse. Vorp might be okay. It's always hard to say with Vorp. We got a King's Ransom of coolness. Okay, so yeah, we maybe should have gone even a little harder in the old coolness. I forgot about Vorp. We had enough money to get rid of the fucking decoy. But coronavirus is canceling like CES, the Game Developers Conference. It's emptying E3. These are only the events that I know about because I'm a fucking electronics nerd still at age 34. But you know, people aren't traveling. They're not sure when it's going to stop being an issue. And I think one of my coworkers told me that like the amount of damage that has been done financially on the world's dudes, the world's businesses and richest people and things like that is in the like trillions of dollars. There's the market, even if it does recover, is going to net a negative because of the impact. Unless it does some incredible bouncing, it's going to net a negative for the entire year, it looks like. I don't know what the market is necessarily, so that's why I try not to talk about shit like that. But I'm using this horrible catastrophe as an opportunity to jump into the stock market when prices are going down. I would like to buy Tesla stock. I'm gonna have to consult with the missus about that because it's kind of expensive still. It's dropped down from about 900 to 675 as of today at the close of the markets. That's $700 to put towards one single thing that could continue to go down for as long as, say, ever. We could have, the company could collapse entirely. I don't think it's possible. Everybody knows that even as bad as this is, even though it's a full week of plunging, it's not eternal. I think the thing you want to do, though, and I talked about it before, the thing you want to do is buy stocks when they're at their absolute lowest. Wait till they get to the maximum point they will ever get in the history of their existence, and then sell them then. But I might be more of the mind of buy a stock that for companies that I support, and then once or twice a year sell regardless, and maybe even rebuy the same stock later on, but it's still, it's one of those things. It's a fucking weird ass, stupid, gambly style game, and I fucking despise gambling, so I'm having a real hard time. Every time I think about it, I'm like ready to go the other way with it, but I think it's kind of hard to ignore the potential of the situation. Wish that would have been great. That would have been real nice. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. There wasn't a second shop. Pretty rare that there isn't, but there straight up wasn't. I hate the bullet idol. Sometimes I like drop it just because, but there's actually... Ooh, what? If you're holding the Vorpal gun, get hit. Next shot, guaranteed crit. That's not the direction we wanted that one to go, but it's a slavey. Slavey. I don't know if this gun is going to be worth it with the lack of any kind of doubled vision or scattered shot. Huh? You don't have to. You can if you'd like, but you don't have to. Okay. I'll close it after this fight. Alright, so now we need to figure out what we're going to use for this very final phase. Because that gun straight up doesn't work. This probably. Woo! There was some close fucking calls there. I have no reason to hold on to it. Blank. If I get that close again, it's blanking time. It's blanking times day. That's our first LG in a fucking minute, dog. My lower back is sorer than a horror novel. is good. It's sore than a horror novel is good. We're gonna get both halves of this shit synergy and slop it on down. Choodly doo, doodly doodly doo, doodly doodly doo doo. I think that one is yeah. It's like flak bullets for the grenade launcher only. Doodly doo doo doodly doo 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 doodly doo doo. I should use decoy, perhaps, a little more frequently, especially since it may freeze. I don't know if I got rid of whatever gave me that synergy, but. Oh. Did it explode them into freezing, or did they just... that's gonna finish by itself. Doodly doo doodly doodly doo doodly doo doodly doo doo.
You know that old ass smoothie that I made at Aaron's house that's been sitting in the fridge still? I just rolled out pizza dough and put some on. Because I thought it was sauce.
Why? Why did you think that was sauce?
It was like kind of dark in the fridge.
Was it labeled?
No.
Get that cat out of here.
Okay.
Like runs into the room and starts to destroy something. That's gross. That's a gross story about what my wife just did. Bow, 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 diddly doo, diddly doo, diddly doo, doo. So basically, I now... Okay, that's... I was gonna fucking say I now have a few shots with this weapon before it's rendered unusable for room clearing. So yesterday, Jackie and I watched an episode of The Simpsons. We watched an episode of The Simpsons, like one most nights after, you know, work or whatever. We're getting towards the end of the Golden Age. The Golden Age, I would say, is from... I want to say from season 2 to season 7, or season 8 even. There's some... No, well, maybe season 7. There's some... But I'm going to include season 1. Because season 1, the jokes aren't on par with the jokes of the rest of the seasons in that range. But the writing is still fucking amazing. Like, it's not always as funny. And sometimes it's goofball, sometimes it's lame. But it is just better situational comedy than most other TV shows ever get the opportunity to be. Like, fucking shit, I forgot about that. Ooh, I also totally forgot about... it's just from them hitting it? That's crazy. Yeah, it's just better situational comedy than most things that have ever existed on television. And, like, I mean that absolutely sincerely. You know, and it just gets better with time, but, like, it's even great when it's rough. Well, it doesn't just get better with time, it gets better for a time. And then it drops it all straight down the plunging butt crack of its own self. I gotta remember, you don't have to actually aim this weapon. It's hit scan on whatever the nearest target is. You can shoot it straight at a fucking wall. But so we're nearing the end of season 7. There have been some really amazing ones in season 7. There have been some bad ones as well. Season 8 is when season 8, which I thought was season 10. The way I'd been telling myself the story of The Simpsons decline was season 10 is when it gets bad. But it's actually because the Scorpio episode is like the last episode of the series that I really like. And that I thought was season 10, episode 1. Turns out it's season 8, episode 1. But season 7, episode... I don't fucking know the number, but... Homer meets Smashing Pumpkins, the episode. He you know, his kids don't like his taste in music because it's old. That whole episode, he gets shot with a cannonball. It's the worst kind of celebrity pandering, and it's like, it's the beginning of like, they're not really being jokes. Homer being this weird, invincible idiot. They're just doing things that are very obviously for rating. They're letting some of the non-comedy celebrities tell jokes. Non-comedian, I guess, celebrities tell jokes, and they are so fucking bad, so poorly acted. I mean, Smashing Pumpkins and Sonic Youth are there to kind of make fun of themselves, but still paint themselves as like, you know, the superheroes of the youth or whatever. Like, even if the youth is disenfranchised and kind of made fun of, like, they talk about the morbid depression of teenagers of the day, and how they're still willing to spend tons of money to go see these shows. Like, it's aware, it's making social commentary, but what it isn't is fucking funny. Like, I don't know, it falls flat. It fell flat with the entire episode, and there have been other unfunny episodes, and they're like, the Sideshow Bob Runs for Mayor episode is one such, and it's one that I hadn't seen before that I fucking despise. Saw it for the first time, you know, a few weeks ago or whatever. It's really, really bad, and I'm glad that I hadn't seen it before now, but I don't know. It's not... I'm not saying that The Simpsons is perfect except for season 8 and beyond. There's a couple of other episodes that have been really, really just like bland, but they have a high batting average. They have a ridiculous success rate. Like, 7 years of knocking it out of the park more often than not is incredible. Like, especially while making fun of but also appealing to such hugely disparate audiences. You know, while dealing with a recurring cast of characters, still keeping things fresh. We watched the 22 short stories about Springfield or whatever, and that episode is just genuinely good. It's not always funny, but it's a great take on Springfield kind of replacing whatever city, Hollywood, I guess, in Kill Bill. It's neat, and it's well done, and it doesn't feel cheesy or panderous or anything like that. Like, it feels genuinely good. can get another nice ability. We're just gonna jump out of there. Oh yeah, we do a bunch of damage when we blink. We should have blinked earlier. That's an LGLO. But the Hubbalooza or whatever, Hullabalooza episode, Homer the Cannonball Target episode is the first one that it's the first one that it's not the first one that seems genuinely bad, but it's the first one that feels it's like a trend starter. It's a negative trend starter. It is the beginning of the decline of the quality of writing and replaced with the presence of celebrity, which is like a moment that kind of it looks like I'm choking down two giant dicks, but it's the moment that The Simpsons turn from somehow still making content that's great enough for a huge variety of audience to taking shortcuts to pander to as many people as possible. I can already imagine the commercials like, tune in next Thursday on The Simpsons when guest stars Cypress Hill and Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins show up to deal with Homer's wacky new hijinks. And it's just, it's radio DJ bad. Like, that's what it feels like. The Simpsons become radio DJ bad. And it's a bummer. It's a fucking bummer.